Welcome back into the workshop, and yes, another update. Not much of a period of time has gone since the last one, but I've been trimming down the tables, the wing tables for the miter station, and I've come across something that I hadn't expected, and that is the glue, which I've been extolling the virtues of, may need more than 24 hours to cure. May do. So I'm going to do that, but I'm also contemplating either leaving the screws in, not my preference. Definitely have a look at anything through the centre, because that's where the bench dog holes will be drilled, but leaving them in, maybe. The glue has set, but not necessarily hardened, so I'm leaving this piece that I've just cut off, the panel here, I'm leaving that as a test sample, and there's a bit down there as well actually as I'm looking at it, but I'll leave these so that tomorrow I might come out and give it a wee bit of a flex to see just how hard the glue has set up or cured. Setup time and curing not always the same, and I hark back to when I like building, we've got a particular period of or a window where there's the initial set of the concrete, and that doesn't mean it's hard, does it? But concrete has a period of time over time where it gets harder and stronger. Generally is going to be the case. Oftentimes, it can be, we normally say 45 minutes for the sort of concrete we were using. It's generally a high strength concrete, and it can generate more heat, and therefore it can harden up quicker. But hard is the wrong word. Well, it's how you use the words, but know what you're meaning. But the set time and hardness is, anyway, we'll leave that alone. If you've dealt with concrete a lot like I have, you've got to get that right. Concrete actually, apparently, according to the chemists, continually gets harder, but it doesn't necessarily continually get stronger. That is generally the case, but yeah, anyway, snippets of information. You really want to have a concrete technologist giving you better information than me. Anyway, same thing here. Set time, drying time, cure time, and fully cured. Quite often you'll see these different times. You've got a dry time or a set time or a work time, and that may be minutes or a couple of hours. Like on the bottle, it says it dries in an hour or 2 hours, whatever it was, but fully cured or cured in 24 hours. Well, this has been 24 hours. So, just saying, but I'm erring on the side of paranoia, and I'll just leave them. I can still carry on clashing them, but I'm going to leave them and then test them out. The reason I was a little bit iffy about it is because I had a couple of narrow strips, more narrow than these, cut off one part of it, and I broke them apart, and the glue, while tacky, was not dry, not cured, and I'm thinking, that's a bit of concern. And then a couple more times it happened, and I'm going, oh dearie me. Plus the fact that I didn't actually, I didn't use a lot of glue, to be honest, because I only had that one small bottle, and I wanted it to go, for the 4 panels. So there's that. It's a workbench after all. It's not like it's some engineering type product or tool. So yeah, I've got to be a little bit realistic. Here's the point. Did I have one? No. Yeah, well, I do. But I just wanted to highlight that, even after me has stolen the virtues of it. Yeah, give it time to work, Dave. But if I don't want to keep the metallic screw, or the metal screw, steel screw in here. What I may do, I have not done it with melamine yet. I've done it with timber, but that's where you can stitch dowels in on a 30 degree or 60 degree, 45 degree, whatever angle you decide. You can stitch the dowel in, tap it in with a bit of glue, and it can then do its magic. You've stitched the item together, and it's not steel. So the reason I didn't want steel in any of this is because this might get drilled into at some stage, and I won't always be able to see where the screws are. So don't have any steel or metal screws. One of the things that, and this is just an aside, and this is a short one, one of the things that caught me by surprise once was working for a friend of mine who was a joiner, and I hadn't done any joinery. I'd done finishing work, but not joinery. And he was making up a set of French doors and mortise and tenon them, together and what have you. And then he used this. I have never seen it since, but it was like a star aluminium dowel that you just hit in as a nail. And because it's aluminium, it's not going to rust, and it can be painted over easily. And I thought, I've never seen those before, And it was one of those things that sometimes specialist trades, or people in different professions or trades, use items that you'll never ever come across because they're used hidden, and if they're used well, you'll never know that they're there. And that was one thing. It was a aluminium starred. I don't know whether it had 4, like just a cross, or whether they had 6, crosses on it. I don't know. But yeah, just drive it into the soft wood of, the cedar, and that held the items together while all the I think it was casein glue. Anyway, whatever glue it was that would harden up. So that's clever. Ditto here. Stitch in, so have opposing dowels, and seems like it might work. It certainly worked on the pieces of timber I used. I actually stitched a piece of timber onto a piece of melamine, and then tried to pull it off, and she wasn't moving. And that wasn't glued, that was just the dowel knocked in. Might do a wee video on that point. I think there's enough of my explanation there for you to understand that that's the way it works. I actually saw 731 Woodworking. I like his channel. I can't recall his name at the moment, memory. But yeah, he did was it Mascara, or whatever brand, and it was one of these wee doweling jig type things where the holes were at a 45. And he too says, it's remarkably how well these actually hold together. So one day I did that just to have a bit of a trial run, and yeah, I thought there would have been a wee bit of wriggle potential there, but didn't seem to be. So yeah, quite impressed. Anyway, another 24 hours letting the glue set up before I test my little pieces, but got a feeling for insurance in the next day or two before I mount these properly, I might stitch some dowels in there just for the sense of my paranoia, so I can put it to rest a little bit. So, rightio, that's it. Starting to get towards the clashing. So I just had to trim them down to size, the final dimension. Hopefully it's all going to work. Might need one more cut. I've decided to clash the 4 sides. Really not necessary, but why not? Okay, that's it. Better get on with it. See you in the next one now. Bye.